my fellow weirdos, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I am finally getting around to the local haunts book tag. If you guys didn't know about this book, where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? Have you not been watching my videos? Oh, I'm insulted. Local Haunts is a collection of short stories which has been compiled by the wonderful Regina St. Clair, aka Regina's Haunted Library. And everybody featured in the book is a horror booktuber, including moi. And it is centered around the theme of local haunts, i.e. Somewhere local to the author that they can create a haunted story, or that is haunted, and that they can kind of base a story around. So that's the sort of premise of the collection. And it has done really, really well. It's actually gone up to become a bestseller on Amazon. So yay, go Regina, go team, because every penny that's being raised from this is going to charity. I encourage you to buy it. I haven't got around to reading it yet because my brain... it's been a really hard few months for personal reasons. And I can't read right now. It's like, you know, when you're just feeling really super down and you can't do the things that you love the most, even though the things that you love the most are what would help you stop feeling down. That horrible cycle. I'm in that at the moment, but I'm trying my best to get out of it, and I can't wait to read the book and feature a review on the channel because I want to read everybody else's stories. Obviously, the only one I've read so far is mine. So yeah, wish me luck. I'm going to get out of that swamp. That's a bit of a sidetrack. Anyway, Local Haunts, great book, but Dane has, over at Dane Reads, has created a book tag based on the book. So loads of people have done it. I've seen it, and for shame, despite the fact that I'm in the book, I haven't actually done it yet. So I've got my questions up here. I'll put Dane's original tag link down below so you can go check him out. Check his channel out anyway. Really nice guy. Really good reviews. So I'm going to do the tag now and stop rambling. Stop rambling, Marie. Okay. Question 1. Local haunts. Tell us about a creepy or spooky place that is close to you. Okay, guys. I live in Northern Ireland. Ireland, in general, is a really old country, and it has a really bloody history. A really bloody history. A lot of wars, a lot of fighting, a lot of murder. And yeah, there are so many haunted places. I've already done a local haunts video myself, inspired by the book, which was me talking about haunted locations throughout Ireland, which I, on a side note, will be visiting and doing videos on. So keep an eye out for that. So I've already kind of featured some of those. So I'm going to try and think of one that I didn't feature in the video. I will link that video down below so you can check out some really cool haunted places in Northern Ireland and Ireland. But I'm going to try and give you a place that isn't in that video. Did that make sense? Hopefully. So there is a location in a town, a little village called Kirkhubbin. It's actually not that close to me, but I have family from the countryside. So this is why I know about it. And it's called Nuns Quarter. And basically at one point, there's been a lot of religious persecution here in Ireland. There's been a lot of religious persecution in the UK in general, depending on what religion was going in and out of favour. I'm sure you know about kind of Henry VIII and the whole Protestant Catholic debacle. Anyway, at one point, Catholics were being seriously persecuted here, and nuns and priests were being slaughtered, and convents burned to the ground. And Nuns Quarter in Kirkhubbin is named Nuns Quarter charmingly because there was a convent there. It doesn't stand anymore because it was burned to the ground. But the nuns were all hung, drawn and quartered, hence the name. Apparently that area is a bit of a hub for paranormal activity, with ghostly nuns being seen, which is somehow a creepier nun than a creepier ghost than a regular ghost if it's a nun ghost. Somehow that feels creepier to me. It reminds me, I suppose, of the Blumhouse horror movies, you know, The Nun and that kind of universe. What was that demon called? I can't even remember, and I've actually done a video where I made my makeup to look like her. Anyway, him. Did demons have gender? Anyway, I'm going on a sidetrack again. Oh my God, I'm really like in a proper manic mood today. I need to like calm down. There's a lot of weird horror manic energy going on. Okay, so yeah, spooky place. One of the places on my list that I would quite like to visit and do a video on, although I don't know if I can because, you know, the convent is gone. But anyway. Okay, question 2, a stone's throw. Tell us about a story with a young female character who has a tough life. I'm going to go and I'm going to take a leaf out of Tillery's book, D.L. Tillery, who is also featured in the book, and she's a channel. I think it's author D.L. Tillery. I think it's author D.L. Tillery is her handle on here, but I'm going to tell you about my next book because it is actually about a police officer from Belfast, which I live just outside, and she has suffered a lot of trauma as a result of an incident in her job and has just returned to work after being off with PTSD. And then there's a case where there's a series of deaths of young women in the city, seemingly unlinked, some of them accidents and some of them are obviously murdered. But she starts to be haunted by a woman who has long since died, a long time ago. And this woman seems to be trying to tell her something about these more recent deaths, that they are linked. And not only are they linked, they are a copycat of a serial killer from a century before who killed this particular victim. And it's her story of being haunted and trying to unravel who the killer is while dealing with a serious haunting and her own mental health issues. So hopefully I'll get that finished and get it out next year, but we'll see, because I am incapable of functioning as an adult at the moment, thanks to lots of personal issues. So 2020, right? Question 3, Crowthorne, tell us a story with a harmful friendship. The one that immediately comes to mind for me is Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Zebright. If you haven't read that book, I thoroughly recommend it. It is effed up, super effed up. The main character is a necrophiliac serial killer, and he escapes jail and is kind of assumed dead. I believe I haven't read it in a long time, but I think they think he's dead, so they don't keep looking for him. And anyway, he makes a friend with a guy, and at first he's like thinking about making this guy a victim, but then he realizes that this guy has the same proclivities as him, so the friendship kind of grows, and then they become lovers. And that's a pretty effed up friendship, so we'll go with that one. Question 4, Screen 8. Tell us about a movie that scares you and that's based on a true story. That's a hard one because, to be completely honest, a lot of horror movies don't really scare me. Like, I love them, but I'm a tough girl to scare. I've seen a lot of horror movies. I've read a lot of horror books. But I do tend to find the paranormal movies a lot scarier, particularly the ones based on true stories. So kind of like the Conjuring type things, although not necessarily the Conjuring because it's kind of a sweet ending. Amityville, those types of things where you've got real life hauntings. Or, you know, Exorcism. The Exorcist is obviously based on a true story. Although it was a little boy in real life. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Those types of movies where you have demonic possessions, spirits, poltergeists that allegedly terrorize real people. My reasoning behind finding them more terrifying than a killer is because I feel like a killer, you know, you can fight a killer. You can kill a killer. You have a means of stopping someone, unless they're Michael Myers or something. But how the hell do you fight like a ghost or a demon? Like, I mean, I don't know. That's, yeah. It's a tough one if you're being haunted, you know, because you're going to have to start looking into priests and cleansings and all sorts of stuff. And none of that's guaranteed. Whereas if somebody attacks you, you can always just, you know, stab them back. That's my sort of thought behind it. Question 5, The Mount of Death, Beer Me. Tell us about a story where a drink plays a role in the plot. Like an alcoholic drink? what comes to mind immediately for me would be The Shining. Jack, the father in the story, is an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic, and as the Overlook Hotel has a kind of effect, more of an effect on him, he starts to drink again and become abusive again, and which led to him like losing his previous job and ending up the caretaker at the Overlook Hotel, and has caused a strain in his relationship with both the wife and his son. And then there's like great moments where he's at the bar having a drink with a long since dead bartender serving him, which is just awesome. And I love the Stanley Kubrick scenes where he's in the bar and then Wendy comes in and is like, who are you talking to? And it just suddenly cuts and the customers are gone, the bartender's gone, all the beautiful crystal bottles that were behind and full of alcohol is gone. It was a really good scene. Question 6, The Blocked Cellar. Tell us about your favourite horror, paranormal or true crime YouTube channel. It's got to be Bailey Sarian. I love Bailey Sarian. If you don't watch her, she's amazing. She does murder, mystery, makeup Mondays, and then she does her fun little theme tune. Anybody who watches Bailey Sarian will know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you'll think I'm insane. But she is a makeup YouTuber originally, but she has a serious morbid curiosity and fascination with true crime and spooky stories. She's herself experienced paranormal activity. So she started doing a murder mystery makeup Mondays where while she does her makeup and gets ready and for Halloween, she'll do like Halloween costumes and Halloween makeup. She tells you a true crime story. And they're just really fun and informative, and she is really like enjoyable to listen to and thoroughly entertaining. I recommended her to so many people. I love her channel. Shout out to Bailey Sarian. If you see this, girl, DM me. Love you, channel. Question 7, The Night Watchman, which is my book. My story in Local Haunts, by the way, is about a night watchman. Plug. Tell us about a story that's set partly at night. Isn't that like every horror book? Like ever? Well, the big obvious one is going to be ones like Dracula, where the bad guy can only be about at night because he burns up in sunlight. So that's the kind of like immediate one that comes to mind. I'm going to go with another vampire one, and I'm going to go with probably my favorite read of the year, or at least my top 3 of the year, which is Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, about a book club of middle-aged bored housewives who start reading true crime, and then this boy moves into the neighborhood and one of the book club realizes that he's a vampire and he's preying on the children on the kind of other side of the tracks, and they end up like the book club has to defeat him. It's just awesome. Grady Hendrix, fantastic read. Really recommend it. Question 8, Alone Along the Gum Trees. Tell us about a story that takes place in the wilderness. Again, there's a lot coming to mind here because there's so many stories sort of set in forest. Do you know, I'm going to say Into the Forest is the last one because it's the last book that I read. It's actually an anthology by Erie River Publishing, and they have a series coming out. This is another plug, I'm so sorry, but they have a series where it's themed around locations. So they had an Into the Forest, they have From the Sea, and then there's From the Sky, which I have a short story being featured in, which is coming out very shortly. But Into the Forest is just a bunch of short stories all around the idea of there being something in the woods. So that's what comes to mind. Question 9, Highway to Hell. Tell us about a story that involves music. Okay, I am going to go with a musical horror because that just seems like the easy answer, because I'm having a mind blank and I can't think of a book involving music. And I'm sure I've read loads, but I'm just like blanking. Probably should have prepared my answers in advance, but I'm going to go with the Rocky Horror Picture Show because that is First of all, amazing. Tim Curry. Oh, what a legend. Amazing legs in that film. And it's full of amazing songs. It's a great musical. It's weird as hell. And it contains murder and like alien transvestites and just all sorts of fun kookiness. So that's what I'm going to go with. That it's an obvious answer. But I did not prepare my answers in advance of doing this book tag. So that's what you're getting. Question 10. At the end of the rope, tag some booktube and horrortube friends. Okay. I don't know who's done this and who hasn't because, again, I did not prepare. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm going to tag Alicia Reeds because she's like a complete nerd like me. Ooh. I don't know who's done this. We'll go with Dark Between the Pages. Have you done it? I don't know. And Cammie's Corner. Again, I don't know who's done this or who hasn't. You might have all done it. Oh, and Harpies in the Trees because I just love Merce. I'll tag all those people. We'll see. If they've already done it, I'm sorry for tagging you. I'll have to watch your videos. But yeah, like I said, I did not prepare for this. I just got Dane's questions up and just launched right in. Because I'm a professional like that. Little behind the scenes, behind the curtain look at how I do my channel. Just off the cuff. Bet you could never tell that. Bet you thought that this was all just painstakingly, perfectly scripted. Yeah. Anyway, that's my version of the tag. I'm sorry that it's full of just me being weird. Anyway, it's available now on Amazon. It is now officially a bestseller and the money goes to charity. So come on, guys. Go grab a copy now. If you like my story, come and let me know. I'm going to do a review eventually when my brain starts working again and allows me to read. Stupid brain. But that's me for now. If you could subscribe to my channel, I would really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the bell because otherwise you're going to miss out on all this wonderfully professional booktubing. And that's me for now.